I need you to do is just give me your legal signature on that line by the X, please.
The midterms are on, and they are all about who will control Congress come November, as well as a preliminary test of the Republicans' ability to hold the White House in 2020.
And what ballot type would we like today?
Ohio is a key swing state in both contests. Most voters have issues that are important to them when they go to the polls, but it's less common for voters to think about the equipment they vote on.
Do you know the name of the voting machine that you voted on?
I don't.
Do you ever think about it, like what type of machine you're voting on?
Truthfully, no.
Not really.
Voting machines around the country are reaching the end of their lifespan, and Ohio is no different.
There's 73 counties or so that are mostly functioning with the equipment that they bought around 2005, 2006.
That's old.
It's old. As we like to say, that technology came out before iPhone 1 did, so we're definitely in need of a refresh.
In addition to being old, many of the machines in use in Ohio have serious security risks. In Licking County, they're voting on the AccuVote TSX, a machine that has been hacked on film,
was very hard.
on national television,
the computer virus went and switched the votes inside the computer's memory.
and more recently at the DEF CON hacking conference last July.
I think we would eventually be able to manipulate the votes. Somebody with more experience could probably do this in about a week.
Oh, so we can reset the board and maybe reflash the BIOS at that point.
Voting machine vendors and election officials point out the machines have all been certified. However, Ohio's entire fleet of voting machines was tested in a 2007 comprehensive security study called the Everest Report, and the security came up short. The report is blunt. It states, all of the studied systems possess critical security failures, and it concludes that security on every machine in the state is insufficient to guarantee a trustworthy election. Although the report was released in 2007, not a single voting machine was decertified afterward.
After the Everest report came out, I don't believe any system was decertified in the state of Ohio. The systems that are in use now in at least 73 or 74 counties are the same.
One other thing I need you to do is indicate your party preference.
Lisa, a voter from Franklin County, voted in the May 8th primary on one of Ohio's machines called the iVotronic. The machine has multiple security flaws, but the most devastating type of attack could come by installing a virus in what's known as the PEB, or Personal Electronic Ballot, a small box that controls the entire election. Many poll workers handle the PEBs. Not all are aware of their importance.
Do they have the results on them?
I'm not sure if they do or not.
Those yellow cards have the results from each machine.
Any poll worker, even a single voter, could change the results of the election by installing a virus on one of the PEBs or switching it out with one that has malware on it. Hackers at DEF CON showed me how easy this is to do.
Look, I mean, how does espionage work? You can take the hard method of looking at a device and trying to hack it, or you just pay somebody $50 to kiss someone on the cheek, grab the device, swap it out with yours, right? I mean, these things are hard to find, but it's not impossible. It's not to say you can't find this on eBay. That's how they got all this.
At the end of the election, poll workers take the same PEB from machine to machine, downloading the results. This makes it quick and easy for a virus to spread. The PEB with the results is then taken to county headquarters. Once there, it can install the virus on the central election management system. Now that corrupted central system can program all the voting machines in the county in subsequent elections. According to the report, at this point, every major component of the system is running compromised code, and there may be no indication that this is occurring.
It makes me nauseous.
ES&S, the manufacturer of the iVotronic, was asked for comment but did not respond. Once on the machine, the virus is able to change votes for candidates as voters make their selections. Election officials say the process is more secure because there is a paper trail attached to the machine where voters can check that their selections have been recorded accurately. But studies have shown that most voters do not check the paper trail.
Did you have a piece of paper at the end that showed you who you had voted for?
No.
It shows it on the screen. It's not an actual piece of paper.
And at one polling station, the printed paper was actually covered, so voters could not see it even when they looked.
Were you able to see the paper at all?
No.
It gives you an option to print, it says at the end, but nothing actually comes out.
Have you ever tried?
I did.
In either case, it takes the virus less than 4 seconds to change the vote on the printed paper as well. According to Verified Voting, 17 states are using the AccuVote TSX, and the iVotronic is in use in 16, including the swing states of Florida and Pennsylvania.
One of the reasons I'm passionate about elections is because I've been to places where people don't have the right to vote.
State Senator Frank LaRose, the Republican candidate for Secretary of State, has introduced a bill to fund new voting machines for Ohio that could improve security depending on what type of machines the counties purchase. Because voting equipment is expected to last for a decade or more, Ohio families and businesses could be impacted by this decision for years to come. Professor Duncan Buell has spent over a decade researching election security.
I'm Duncan Buell. I teach computer science at the University of South Carolina.
Buell says that having voters mark their own paper ballot by hand is the best way to ensure that each person's vote is recorded accurately and that the vote totals can be statistically audited after the fact. Some voters were skeptical about paper.
I like the machine. Too many things can happen to a piece of paper.
But most of the voters I spoke with expressed a preference to mark the ballot themselves on paper.
Would you feel more comfortable if there was a paper ballot?
I would.
I would prefer to have a paper ballot where I'm making marks on a ballot, personally.
Just like we do if we're taking a test, you mark your own boxes.
Funding for new voting equipment has already passed the Senate, but still needs to get through the House. Currently, there are no requirements for voter-marked paper ballots in the legislation, and one machine that is under consideration includes barcodes on its ballots, something security experts say could be a problem.
Rich DeMillo, an election security specialist at Georgia Institute of Technology, says an attacker could insert malicious code in barcode readers or writers, allowing votes to be counted for a different candidate than was intended.
I am familiar with the barcode system. I think that the hand-marked paper ballot system is much preferable.
Ohio State Representative Kathleen Clyde is running against LaRose for Secretary of State. The Secretary of State is the chief election officer, so whoever wins that office ultimately will be responsible for improving Ohio's election security.
When it comes to what kind of voting machines are available in Ohio, certainly it's up to the vendor to initiate the process for certification.
Like any private company, vendors need to make sales decisions based on profit. The touchscreen barcode machine that is being marketed aggressively to Ohio and other states is estimated to be at least 3 times as expensive as an optical scan voting system, and election security experts say it is less secure. With public pressure, it's possible that an amendment could be added to the proposed legislation requiring hand-marked paper ballots, cybersecurity guidance, and prohibiting the use of barcodes on ballots. Senator LaRose was unable to meet with me for an interview, but Clyde has introduced her own legislation to make sure Ohio's elections are secure and accurate.
My legislation would require a paper ballot system.
Her current proposal would permit barcodes, but she says she's willing to take that under consideration.
I would be open to requiring a hand-marked paper ballot system in Ohio. I think that's the most secure system, and as long as we're able to accommodate voters with disabilities, I think that would be a good thing for us to move to.